I am about to show you one of the greatest secrets on Lost Island, and it will change your life forever. This guide will teach you how to get 6 red loot drops in 6 minutes, every hour, with no tames, no gear, and no problem. I will give you step-by-step instructions to navigate through the desert labyrinth and avoid every trap so you could walk in at level 1 and walk out with piles of Ascendant gear in just a few minutes. This guide will show you how to easily find the location of the desert labyrinth, give you tips on how to efficiently farm hundreds of Ascendant drops, show you an easy-to-follow, step-by-step run-through, and then take you on a speed run through the labyrinth again to pick up 2 more loot drops. I will put timestamps in each section so you can jump right to the info you need, and make sure to bookmark this video so if you get lost in the labyrinth later, you can come back to it and follow the guide from a familiar room, because the only way out of the desert maze is to go further in. And when you're done, come back and drop a comment and let me know what amazing loot you get from this. Please like and share this video, comment and subscribe to this channel, and ring that bell for all notifications so you don't miss our next video. And let's get started! So before we start raking in epic loot, we've got to actually find the entrance to the desert labyrinth, and that's hard to find if you don't know exactly where to look. So we're at about 92.878.3, where we've got a clear view of these mountain peaks right here. If you look on the map, it's got these 2 mountains drawn on the south side of the desert, and we're on the very south side of those mountains. You can see these 2 peaks right here, and we're going to get on the side of the smaller peak facing the taller one and head straight in that direction. And you'll see this other peak sticking up on the other side of the valley, and we're going to go right between those 2 peaks, look down into the valley, and you'll see these 2 trees at the base of the valley. We're going to head straight between those 2 trees, look up, and you'll see this, which is the entrance to the desert labyrinth. And here's the map and GPS coordinates of that entrance. You'll need a flyer or a mailing to get in here, but I highly recommend setting up an outpost, maybe a 1x1 with a bed and a box so you can just loot everything in the cave, drop it off, and then come back when it's piled up and fly it back to your main base. And official servers probably won't let you build in this room, but you can always set up an outpost really close by in the canyon. So now let's show you how to actually run this cave. Now we can run this cave twice in a row to get 6 total loot drops every 45 minutes, and we don't technically need a single piece of gear or a single stat to do this. You can do this at level 1, but it's way easier with some movement speed. So we're going to head down into this cave, and you'll see this big gauntlet here, the infinity gauntlet wall. Turn to the right at this point, we go into the right, and you come out from the left. And you'll see this room which looks like a total dead end. There's this lamp here in the middle, and to the left, if we look at eye level, there's this little indent in the wall, and that's actually a button. You can press it. You've got to be at exactly the right spot and the right angle to get that E to pop up, but once that pops up, you can push the button, and this will open up, and you're now in the labyrinth, and the only way out is to go further in. So we're going to keep going down this hallway, and you'll see this pit of poison gas, and if we sprint, we should be able to jump across these, or if you have 150% movement speed like I do, you don't even have to sprint to jump across them. But if you do fall in here, you're not going to take much damage. It's like 5 damage per second, and you can jump back out on the right-hand side. There's these stairs. But if you're holding forward and jumping, you won't be able to hop up. But if you back up, move forward, and jump, you can actually make it up the stairs. So now we're in this room, which has all of these pillars. We haven't had any turns yet, but now is where the maze really starts. We're going to go to the right here, and we're going to hug all of the walls because there's these square indentations on the floor, and if you step on those, it might drop grenades on your head, explosive or poison, and it's gonna hurt. It also can spawn some bugs in the floors below, but if you're really careful not to touch any squares, you're in good shape. Now this room sometimes has a loot drop right here, but if we keep on going, we'll eventually find there's 1 loot drop on this floor which will spawn in a random position, and we're gonna find that before we head further down. Down here to the left is another spot it often will spawn, and we'll keep on going around here to the left and then turn turn left here. Now sprint at this point as we turn left, sprint as fast as you can, because right there, poison darts will shoot out of the wall. And we found the first loot drop. Once we get that loot drop on this floor, we can keep on moving. So right there you can see there's these little like cylinders sticking out of the wall, and that's where the darts shoot out of. If you see those, keep an eye out for those. There's only one on this floor, but if you get close to them, they'll start shooting these poison darts, which will knock you unconscious. Probably won't kill you, but it's a real pain. If you're sprinting through that section though, they won't actually hit you. So from here, we're going to turn right and continue on down the hallway. And there's a little curve around here. Sometimes you get a loot spawn over here. And then we're going to turn right and head on down. By the way, some of the rooms will glow pink. That just means there is a loot drop currently nearby that's reflecting off the walls. That room's not always pink. So down at this section, we're on the second floor. We're going to turn to the right, and that's going to loop us around this way. Make sure not to step on any squares on the floor that look weird. And then we're going to turn to the right again and head down this hallway and another right. And be careful here because there's more poison darts. You've got to sprint as fast as you can and don't stop till you hit the back wall. Otherwise, you'll probably pass out. We're going to keep on heading around here. And then we'll take a left and you'll see these stairs turning downwards. Both paths will eventually lead you here into this room where we've got this tomb. This is a really good landmark if you get lost. Let's come back to this point in the video and head on to the right side of this. And you'll see there's two sets of darts that shoot you. Got to sprint all the way to the end. And sometimes scorpions pop out. So we're going to jump as fast as we can onto this middle pillar. Now, the scorpions will fall down into the pit and slowly die of poison. And they actually can't reach you as long as you're forward past this pillar. Now there's spikes that pop up on this pillar, but they don't do a ton of damage. And it's got a nice handy stairway on the left hand side if you do happen to fall into the poison gas. And even if there's a scorpion in here, it usually won't be able to reach you because it gets stuck on the pillars on the bottom. So now turn left and we're in the next loot drop room, but stay on the left hand side because if you walk down the middle, you're going to spawn arthropluras and grenades. So head to the end of the room and turn left at the pots, sprint past some more darts, and then head left again, and we'll see all of these banners, and you can kind of see through into the rooms here. And from this section, if we look on the right side of the banners, we'll see this little bloody handprint on the wall, just above eye level, just to the left of that lamp. We're going to push the button, and then head right and you'll see this wall starts to open up. I like to wait till it's halfway open because bats will often spawn once you get into the doorway. But if you have decent movement speed, you can lure the bats into the room, loot the thing, run around the sides, and then go around the bats before the door closes on them, and it traps the bats inside. But if you happen to get trapped inside this room with no bats to kill you, there's a rock on the right-hand side you can push to get it open again. But either way, once we go out of the room, turn right and sprint all the way to the end of the hallway to avoid anything else that's going to attack you. So now we're going to sprint down this hallway because there's darts that'll shoot us all the way to the wall, and then hang on the right-hand side and turn right at this opening, and there's this big room with all of these loot drops that can spawn. There's like 4 different spots the loot drop can be, but look around this room, it's almost always going to have one in this big circular room, and then turn right again, and we've now gotten all 4 loot drops. Make sure you sprint through this hallway because there's 2 sets of darts that'll shoot you, and then at the end of this hall, there's another room that goes to the right and a whole section you don't want to mess with, but we're just going to keep going straight where you see these stairs going up. This is one of the only sets of stairs that goes upward, and there's multiple stairs going up. That's the only way to get out of this cave. If you see more than one flight of stairs heading upwards, you're on your way out. And then we come to the last fake dead end in this labyrinth, and if we look to the right-hand side of this wall, you're going to see just below and to the left of that lamp is another little indentation in the wall. You've got to line it up just perfectly at the right spot. Very tricky to hit this one, but if you're in the right place, it'll eventually pop up the little icon that says you can push the button and make your way out of the labyrinth. That's going to open up the wall. We're going to head straight on down, and we are back in the main entrance, and we've got the infinity gauntlet on the wall, and on the right hand side is the exit. So now we just drop the loot off in our little loot box, and we can do this all over again to grab 2 more loot drops, which should respawn immediately. Doesn't happen 100% of the time. It might be different on your server, but at least on my server, I can just run this right again 3 more minutes and get 2 more epic loot crates, which is totally worth it. So I'll show you how to run this maze again really fast without stopping or explaining anything. So we're going to go in, take a right hand side, and we got this button right here to open up the door and enter the labyrinth. We're going to head around this hallway and down these stairs, and we've got this pit of poison gas which we can jump right over, and you can actually make it to the second pillar if you've got 150% movement speed. Now we've got these chambers here. We're going to try not to step on any of the boxes on the floor, staying on the sides, and we're picking up a second loot drop that has respawned already in one of the other locations on the first floor. So that's one place it can appear. It can also appear over here, and we're just kind of weaving through all of these squares, and you can watch this in slow-mo if you want to follow along with me. And we're going to keep on heading around this section and around to the right. Sometimes you get another loot drop through that section, and we're heading down a couple more flights of stairs to the second level. Going on the right hand side, always hugging the walls. And on this section to the right, we're going to sprint down this part because that's got the poison darts, which knock you out a lot of the time. Going to head on down this hallway, go down another flight of stairs, and now we are in this central chamber here. This is a good reference point if you get lost. Sprint through this hallway all the way to the end, and now we're going to jump across another pit of poison, and hopefully you don't lag like I did and jump right back to the middle of the pit and fall in. But, you know, once again, on the left-hand side of this pit, you've got your stairs. You can just climb on up, make sure you back up, and then jump forward as you're moving. Go left here, and in here, we've got another loot drop, but it doesn't respawn the second time. We're heading to the left just to show you the optional room in case you're following along the first time. There's not a second loot drop that'll respawn here, but I'll show you real quick just so you can follow along if you're doing this the first time. Going into this room, avoiding the bats, getting the bats trapped inside here. We loop around the bats after looting the loot box, and then we let them get slammed inside. There we go. And then we're going to head on straight. Sometimes they glitch through the wall. That's fine. We'll just sprint and then turn to the right at the end of this hallway. Sprint all the way down to avoid the trank darts. Head to the right in this big chamber, and this is where the second loot box is going to respawn most of the time. So this is the second time around. It's respawned here. Once again, avoiding the bat. Running through this hallway as fast as we can to avoid the trank darts. We don't go over there, and we're going to head straight up all of the stairs and all the way to the top. Once we've got a lot of stairs going up, we are at the home stretch. All we got to do is open up this button right here once we can finally find it. And now the door is open. So if we run this as quickly as possible, you can run 1 lap in about 3 minutes, and the second lap takes another 2 to 3 minutes. So in 5 or 6 minutes, you can pick up 6 amazing loot drops, and you can fast travel here and do this every 45 minutes to an hour all day long, and you get crazy loot in the process. Like, I've been doing this for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I've gotten all of this in just that amount of time playing on the Monarchy server. So this is why I've got some of the most insane endgame loot ready to buy in my shop for all the other Monarchs, because I've picked up several hundred blueprints and I'm selling the best of that loot. So you could technically join a server at level 1, tame yourself a Sonoma Crops, fly over here, and do this loot run over and over again until you've got the best endgame gear in the game without ever leveling up once. Now, all of this works fine at the time of recording this video, but sometimes Wildcard does change and update the game, so do keep in mind it is possible this could change in the future, and I have no control over that. Also, Krabbytron is working on a guide for this very loot cave and lots of other loot caves, and she will have actual maps, which will be really helpful in navigating this labyrinth. So check the link in the description, and as soon as she posts that video with a map in it, I'll drop a link to her guide in the description so you can use that map too, and that'll be very helpful. And if this guide helps you out, please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you comment. Let me know what kind of crazy loot you've gotten from the Desert Labyrinth cave using this guide. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel with all notifications enabled because we've got lots more Lost Island guides coming out really soon, and they will change your life. Thank you so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. Please give it a thumbs up and share it around because that helps us so much. And drop a comment, we love hearing from you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for all notifications so you don't miss our next video, which will come out very soon. And while you wait, we have tons of other videos you can watch right now, so check these out. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you in the next video.